Why, hello everybody. Welcome back to another brand new video, and I once again am Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered, and I'm going to be finally talking about is Movie Sonic 3. That's right, Movie Sonic 3. So, if anybody has not seen the movie, then I encourage everybody to go ahead and watch the movie, and remember, no spoilers for anything that comes into the movie. And I just want to say before this can still start, by the way, is that yeah, the movie, I'll say how good the movie was of movie Sonic 3. Let's just say the movie was pretty good. And I think the movie was pretty amazing, by the way. Like, I like the fact how the movie was pretty amazing. Like, trust me, the movie was so good. It was so complete badass. Which I cannot believe I'm saying this, that the movie Sonic 3 was well done. Very well done in performance. It was perfect. It was perfect. It was amazing. It was actually pretty good again for most likely every single hype that turned so absolutely well and completely badass at the same time that it went so well in the movie. Even though I saw it 2 times in a row. Which also the good thing is I finally got another plush character that I finally got in the theaters was finally a movie Sonic plush. And I'm like, let's freaking go. Like, I was so happy. Like, that's very good news that I finally got that plush character. And now I could finally be doing the voice of the character, which will be a little hard to imitate a little bit, but it's kind of a little bit of the same normal voice of it. It's like usually the voice of like movie Sonic, because I mean the guy literally be played as the same character from the three of the movies, even though that was from the sequel. That was pretty much like a spin-off of it. So that's probably going to be for some time for me to like know about all of that, which that's going to be interesting. So nevertheless, I'm going to be mentioning about the parts, how good those were, and even if it still remains being in or out of the movies or the theaters pretty differently, then that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about it, because I kind of did feel like I felt a little bit right for me to talk about this whole thing with like how amazing the movie went. Now, am I going to say some of them did the best? No. And if I'm going to say some of them did the best, that's when I might be ranking it. So just remember, all I can say for the matter likely is just that I'm going to be very perspective in some parts of the time with like good or evil by citing which ones are even prophetically better or a little bit amazingly better, which I've been saying was better. So now then, let's just go on with movie Sonic for example. So movie Sonic was still the same character who pretty much likely just like, oh, I don't know, starts to try to figure out a little bit more being a leader. Than more likely trying to lead his friends, exactly. Which I'm quite excited that to know how the hell that movie Sonic might actually do a little bit more differently. Like, I think modern Sonic still does a little bit more better with leading his own kind of group, but movie Sonic is kind of a little bit of a newbie into all of that. He's kind of a little bit more of into a little bit of a newbie thing. To be a little bit more of leading his group, known as probably his friends, that is more likely on his team. That he has was Movie Tails and Movie Knuckles. Now, all I can say for Movie Sonic, by the way, by the perspective of it, is that I think, to be quite frankly honest with that, is how Movie Sonic did pretty well doing with like whenever he started like leading his own team for more likely his friends to pretty much back him up, by the way, was pretty okay. And I like the fact after when Movie Sonic said that he barely sometimes almost got a little bit of trust issues. Or a little bit of a little bit of cooperation issues with some kind of other people that Movie Sonic should have rather been responsible for being more like a leader, other than just trying to be like the jokester that he always was trying to do, which I know he wasn't close to being as a jokester. He was kind of close by saying he was a bit more middle, just to like get on a little bit of the ops, a little bit having a reason just to keep going a little bit more differently forward. Even if it wasn't most likely perfect at the time. But hey, all I can say that Movie Sonic did a pretty a little bit okay job for him still being more likely the main person in the entire thing. And then as in for movie Tales, well, Movie Tales was okay still, which I think I have to say Movie Tales was still okay from like the second from third, which Movie Tales still kind of did a little bit differently, and even heck in the end while he used like a jetpack or something, I'm like, wait, since when can a fox actually learn how to fly a jet? Like pretty much like a jetpack. Since when can a fox actually do that? Which it was kind of more like a movie fox, actually, which I had no idea how that was impossible. But remember, I'm not going to spoiler it for anybody. I'm just only making guesses if anybody's been new or not new to be like watching the whole movie of the film. Then that's pretty much what everybody has to do for like the sake of it. It's just like don't spoiler it for anybody, which I kept my mouth shut for like the first time of it. And then, of course, the second one, I might have to say that too, which I've always kept my mouth shut the whole freaking time of it. So, there you go. Like, there you go. So, the next thing I want to be mentioned about is my boy, Movie Knuckles. Now, why do I say why I like Movie Knuckles still? Like, he still was doing pretty good. Apparently, that he gets like 3 times of him reappearing to the second or like the spin-off, and then hell, the movie 3 example. Like, again, I have to say Movie Knuckles was pretty hilarious after when he still kept on mentioning by like I don't know between a fake and a fake, which is probably going to be like movie Sonic or movie Shadow, for example, was just like man, the jokes I liked when movie Knuckles was making was kind of funny. Like I liked the fact that I liked his voice when movie Knuckles by him still being a little bit of a warrior impression voicing, I think, was still amazing. And oh yes, the actor I liked while he was playing that character too was still good, like really good. Like that's the part where I liked it about. And for the next question about movie Shadow, well, I actually can't believe I knew the voice actor was Keanu Reeves the whole time, and I'm like, damn, it really surprised me. Like the reason why it surprised me when Keanu Reeves took the precision of being movie Shadow the Hedgehog, I was so surprised. Like I was literally surprised, and I'm like, wow, that there really surprised me completely a lot. Even example, it really made me like feel a little bit having a different nerve of knowing what about Movie Shadow. And I'm like, dude, there was like no way that Movie Shadow just grabbed Movie Knuckles' fist and twisted and kicked him up in the sky. And I'm like, no freaking shit. Like, really? Are you literally kidding me? Like, bruh, I've always been more likely leaning to more likely the Knuckles kind. Like, I've always leaned into that, and I'm like, seriously, what the freaking hell was that about? Which I'm like, bruh. And also, he did the exact same to Movie Sonic too, but except that he still grabbed him by the neck and got into the sky again and kicked him up there and then punched him down. And I'm like, bruh. I'm like, no way again. Like, that was nuts. Like, it was seriously nuts. And of course, now we get to mention about more new characters who finally got to have their new position finally being in there otherwise. Now, about pretty much Jim Carrey, again, that is known as to be Movie Eggman, I gotta say, well, he still was funny, and I'm like, bruh. Like, I cannot believe he was still funny again for like the third time in a row. Like, being in 3 appearances. I'm like, bruh. That's just pretty hilarious when movie Eggman was even funny. And also, I had this one question is like, since when did he had hair? Still, I thought he went bald for again. But of course, now his hair was before, and then now it was back to me after, before like the trimming was progressing until Stone had to pretty much likely do everything for him and just probably like get that all started. So that's just what really even really happened, and I'm like, okay, really interesting now. That's just how I find this really interesting for it. And the only thing I could probably say, what there was like one joke that, of course, the 2 kids by saying is like, "Are you Pikachu?" And I'm like, what? Movie Tales is Pikachu. Detective Pikachu. Like, no way. I completely laughed at that joke. Which, I mean, bruh, there was like no way that that was happening in the movie. And I'm like, oh my god. Which I seriously did not know how and why for that. So back to with movie Eggman again. So in pretty much like all the events that I have to say that movie Eggman and Ancient Stone were pretty good friends. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty true. Which I mean, I don't kind of blame both sides anyway, since I'm like more into more likely a hero, which I was more likely liking movie Knuckles quite better, since of course when the second film just dropped, which I think I've always leaned into more of likely still as movie Knuckles, which I've always leaned into like most likely half of bad or good, which in the end, movie Sonic actually did convince movie Knuckles to join movie Sonic's team, and then that's how pretty much my guy actually got to be on the good side. Which hell yeah, man, I'd be on the good team, just to pretty much defeat the evil team. So back to my point of like, however, is that now about like GUN Gun headquarters about Gun. Now, let's just say how Gun, by the way, was pretty much being the ones being completely half responsible of pretty much making a pretty much amount of damage and a little bit of the prop amount of damage for pretty much instantly killing most likely one human girl that was known to be as Movie Maria. And I was like, no way are we really hopping on this shit on the train board again, which of course it's now into a remade of the movie version, but not modern like, but differently. And I'm like, yeah, most movies sometimes are made to be a bit different between becoming to be a little bit more likely the modern type that wasn't even close, but into some recap that was even a little bit of different idea. So that's just all I want to point out for everybody. It's just that, yeah, movie Shadow is definitely kind of actually suffer a lot more. That is kind of actually going to be known as Keanu Reeves that plays the character. So that's probably going to be some kind of origin story for having that to pretty much remain to be there again. With how the movie Maria actually just got killed by one of the soldiers that exploded a freaking glass tank, which was kind of actually a little bit of nukive or something that kind of exploded something like that. So that's probably what happened, and I kind of did enjoy it a little bit of like the good moments a little bit in that movie, and I'm like, so you telling me how that story went was knowing where this was even gonna go, and I'm like, interesting, very interesting. That's just how I kind of enjoyed all of that. And the only next question before, like, after they were done heading to Tokyo, they pretty much decided that they were actually going to go and, like, to some Jiugen headquarters again, while pretty much being in there, which was a little bit abandoned before it was shut down already. And then afterwards, more likely everybody else were pretty much likely to head to London. And then after London, oh yeah, the big battle boss fight up there was nuts before that was even happening. Which, all I'm going to say, we're going to save that to the very end. Thank you very much. We're going to even see saving that to the very end. So, okay. So, movie Eggman's grandfather, or grandpa, more likely his grandfather. So, about movie Eggman's grandfather, I'm like, wait, it's so funny to me that Jim Carrey actually wanted to have like two characters while playing as the same characters. And I'm like, wait, are you telling me that you can actually do that in most likely in the movie? I was like never knowing this, but that was pretty cool. Like the only thing I find it so cool with was just having like movie Eggman just to pretty much have his own grandfather before he started saying that he was gonna track him down. And oh yeah, movie Eggman really hated his grandfather after when he was pretty much sent to like a facility prison after when the damage was caused in pretty much in gun headquarters and the agency headquarters thing before it kind of blew up because one of those soldiers did that in purpose, which one of them was supposed not to fire, but until it was fired, yeah, pretty much Maria, known as Movie Maria, no longer may resist and everywhere else. I mean, there's going to be so many questions of a mystery to know where how Maria is going to actually pretty much live or die which again we know that it's already died of a question, which it's already dead. So pretty much. And then yeah, Movie Shadow did suffer back in the same thing exactly before he was put back in that thing where he was pretty much closed by one of the scientists to take him over there. Well, pretty much the grandfather that was jailed, that was pretty much like jailed Robotnik, decided to pretty much be in prison, to be in big time in jail, which caused the entire incident that was really even happening there. So that's probably what was happening. So if anybody does or doesn't know about that, then I hope to say consider reworking on the clip exactly, and then that's probably why I think. So yeah. And also just want to let you guys know that my eye, by the way, is kind of extra staining, by the way. Which if any of you guys do see my eye being a little bit pink or a bit red, that's exactly why you're seeing this, by the way. That actually is giving me a bit of pain and a little bit of annoyance, which yeah, I've been trying to like get a cloth to clean it up for a bit, but I decided I just want to let it wait for on its own to properly heal it up for a bit. So if not, then I'll probably might have to like figure something out anyways. So back to the story what I'm talking about. Which if any of you guys do see this eye, it's still been good, but this one it's not doing good as well. So yeah, there's like a few bits of water that was kind of stinging it a little bit around the eye, I think. Which, yes, it did add a bit of tears before it went down my face for a little bit because I'm like, wait, how's it even doing that? Which I don't usually sometimes don't know why it does it, but it just completely went down my face anyway since I had to be the one have to like get a cloth and just clean this entire thing up in my eye. So I had to just clean it up for a bit and whatever apparently it would be. So, that's how I'm going to say for the only first time ever, just to be mentioning the fact that, yes, movie Sonic 3 was pretty amazing still. And that's not all of how it was continued to be over. Which, the only thing that continued to be almost over was that there were like 4 villains, or 4 bad guys, that was just Ancient Stone, Movie Shadow, Movie Eggman, and his grandfather, which I was surprised that it was going to be a little bit of a bonding momently. And I like the fact that there was some bonding that after a movie Eggman was experiencing some good in the world, which he kind of actually was feeling a bit of some good in the world until something actually snapped for a little bit by saying is like he doesn't want the earth to be destroyed. He wants it to be he wants it to be like using mankind for pretty much likely to say was like not annihilate the planet until he said something was just like a little differently until yeah, a little bit more like the family thing. After when pretty much his granddad, or pretty much like his grandfather, decided to still want to annihilate the Earth, which was a little bit sad and a little bit highly dark at the moment. And I'm like, Jesus, since when did movie Sonic 3 got so completely huge and dark? Which I could expected a lot more, which was actually a lot to take in for how dark that was. And I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of dark things. Trust me, I've always do, and I always know. Which, hey, I am pretty chill with that. Which there's going to be some things I might be or not to be chill with it. Which that's all I'm just saying. But there are going to be lots of dark moments and a lot of things like that. So I probably wouldn't be surprised anyway for having like to be almost 100, but I temporarily just brought it down for 70, so whatever. The main point is that I was so surprised that there's like literally like lots of characters that there are like 4 characters to this movie. Like the movie 3 right there. Like I'm so surprised that it's just so good. Like I'm surprised that it's just so amazing and it was very good. And I have to say it was kind of sad. I almost cried into the entire thing. I almost cried after when movie Eggman was going to pretty much likely I don't know, get himself killed, I think, and maybe just probably be dead in the entire thing because we all kind of know that Jim Carrey said himself that he probably is not going to no longer come back to the movie anymore with like how the number 4 thing's going to work out was just, yeah, it's going to probably be sad after we're going to find out another villain that's going to probably take his spot. even though his grandfather already got killed already too, which he already poked him with the butt, which of course movie Eggman did, and sent him all the way over there, and I kind of laughed after when that was kind of like how funny or how hilarious it kind of was, which yeah, it was pretty good. And I never knew how movie Eggman finally sees like different things for him to just still remain to be a bit evil, but still turn out to have a good side for a bit before doing so by actually letting have that to happen. So yeah, I was pretty shocked and I was pretty damned after when movie Eggman instantly got killed and got pretty much killed while the whole thing exploded too. And then movie Shadow also died, which I'm like, wait, seriously? He already died too? Like, no way that both of them actually died at the same time. Like, both of them had death counts in there. I'm like, damn, really? Like, wow. I was like, freaking wow. Until my guy Movie Knuckles had to save Movie Sonic and Movie Tails, which was good on my freaking favorite character's part, to actually save them before they would have gone to the same fate, along with the exploding ship that was actually going to be annihilatedly gone. And I'm like, thank goodness that my guy, Movie Knuckles, just came down and saved them anyway. And I'm like, let's go, man. Like, let's freaking go. So, in this point of the scenario that I want to say is that, yeah, I give this movie 10 out of 10, which was completely amazing. And oh, yes, I have to say that the Donut Lord actually got pretty much knocked out by movie Shadow by actually throwing an ultimate fist punch, even though that there was a shape shifting going on that was trying to pretend to be the Colonel, which, yeah, movie Shadow threw like an absolute knockout, and I'm like, wait, what? He just knocked out Tom. Which, okay, well, that went somewhere else. And of course, like, his wife actually had to go out and just try to, like, I don't know, save him a little bit before sending him to the hospital, which was kind of harsh and a little bit decimated, a little bit sad about that, which was kind of sad on the afterwards. Like, yeah, I thought it was like the end of the world was going to be completely seriously ending, which I'm like, no way. Is that how it's going to completely go down the hill? And the only thing I never noticed was that movie Shadow actually went into super form. And I'm like, oh, yay! Did he just went into a super form? Like, movie Shadow, for all example, he went and got into a super form. And I'm like, dang, man. I'm like, wow. He really went into his super form really fast. And he starts to pretty much likely do whatever that he finally came on to say that he was going to be back for doing like a super form after when he actually had a power. And I'm like, that's cool. That's really cool of that. That's really cool. And that's pretty awesome, I think. So the next point I really want to be going on and talking about here is that the next one I want to be talking about is that I want to be explaining a few other minutes of the time, which I'm going to probably say otherwise, is that, well, the only thing I want to be bringing up here is just saying is that the good news is that at least Movie Sonic did defeat Movie Shadow, actually, before he was starting to throw like a big punch in his chin. And I'm like, wow, I never saw that happen. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. So that's probably what happened, what was going on here. So if anybody does or didn't know about that by any chance, then it was pretty much likely something. And oh yes, before in the entire end of all of this was gonna happen was that, yeah, it was pretty awesome of a movie that, well, it was so god tier a little bit. Like the movie 3 was pretty okay, but except the fact it turned out pretty well, which I'm not saying that my movie Knuckles in the second film got better, which I mean, the third one was alright in its finest, which went pretty badass for a bit. Like, trust me, the more characters it gets, the more some of them actually becomes a bit base, for some parts of the time being better. So that's what happened there. And oh yes, about the only good thing I heard was that, yeah, it was pretty sad about like having its final moment with like movie Eggman and Ancient Stone actually about to say their last goodbyes and tell movie Eggman, well, he died, of course, and then was no longer to exist to come back, which, I mean, people thought he was going to die in the second film, but until he already was alive again, that, yeah, it's pretty a little bit of a mystery, if I think, for all places. That it's a little bit more of a mystery to say is like how you find out who's alive or who isn't, which it's pretty much from different alternatives by seeing how that actually works. Now, I gotta say the end credits were so good. Which, I mean, the end credits, for all good reason, that went so good. Like, man, I like the fact every single time that Sega makes a very good, amazing version, close likely that it's almost like a Marvel thing. I'm like, geez, damn, man, that is pretty based and pretty okay, I think. And the only thing I'm going to say from here was that at the very only end, I can't believe I was so surprised. I was like, yo, Movie Metal Sonic is here. Like, seriously, I was so damn surprised that another character, another antagonist, came to the freaking end after when Movie Sonic kind of passed like the campus thing that was kind of a little bit of like the trees and the forest until he kind of went all the way straight to New York. And I'm like, wow, the dude ran so freaking fast that he didn't stop running. And I'm like, since when did he started running all the way from where they were just at, all the way down to like New York instead? Which of course, Movie Tails and Movie Knuckles, they kind of stayed with pretty much with Tom and the rest of them. And, oh yeah, Oizy the dog, I think. Yes. So what really even happened was that Movie Metal Sonic actually finally came to exist. And I'm like, wait, you telling me he's going to be around? Wow, that's pretty badass. Pretty badass I never seen right there. Until another character was Movie Amy, and I'm like, no way! Like, I'm sorry if I kept being surprised from hearing so many times with like different new characters shows up. I was just so surprised that my jaw was going to drop. Which I can't believe that Movie Amy Rose had now finally showed up. Which, oh man, in the fourth movie that might come around in spring, a little bit of a different year in 2026 or whatever, but it depends on the fact or whatever that it might be around, I think, until I heard that movie Sonic 4 might actually come around too, which it's going to be a very interesting conundrum, a very interesting story like of how that's going to exist. For like whenever it's going to exist, it probably may actually come around to exist. So I was like, yeah, that would be pretty interesting for once. That actually would be interesting. So the good news is, at least I could finally be excited to know where like the fourth one's going to happen soon, real quickly. And then, yeah, movie Sonic and movie Amy might have to have some a little bit amount of explanation and a little bit of a conversation after when they're probably going to know about each other again. Which, oh yeah, we're going to know about the modern like versus movie like. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not against like modern or movie at the same universes. They're different, completely comparison universes. But all I'm saying is just that we're gonna see like the very first time ever that we're gonna have movie Sonic and movie Amy actually being talking with each other again. And I wonder who's gonna probably be the new voice actors between two actors that are gonna be movie Metal Sonic and then movie Amy Rose. And also, don't forget the fact about when the handcuffs that were invented by movie Tails, that movie Shadow is alive. And I'm like, what? How did he live? I thought he was going to die. Which I have to say that was crazy. But hearing that again with movie Shadow being alive. And I'm like, huh, really? He still lives until he's kind of actually did something before otherwise, which I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn, that just happened. I'm like, damn. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure, like as always, is like and comment and subscribe to the bell to be notified. And also, as for a reminder for everybody, if anybody has not seen the movie, I suggest that everybody go ahead and watch the film. If anybody has not went into the theaters, I suggest everyone watching the movie. That is Movie Sonic 3. So if anybody has not seen it, I suggest you go ahead and watch it for yourself. Or bring a friend or two or whatever, but just to watch it, I guess. So, with that being said, everybody, I hope to say again that I give this 10 out of 10, except there were some pretty much a little bit of dark moments, a little bit that were pretty much seen. And I was so surprised that Sega finally brought up another song. It was called Live and Learn. And I'm like, no horsey way that they brought that back. And I'm like, how did Sega brought that song back? After, of course, I like, no way. I was like, literally no way until they actually brought that song back before it even started. And I'm like, huh, that's new. That is really new to me. That really is. For the first time ever, that movie characters finally get the song. Which I know it's still again that was Sega that actually just decided to put that in there, and then it was like live and learn, but it was more likely in the movie version of this. Like it had to be pretty much looped a little bit until the song actually played itself, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like that was pretty cool though. Very amazing. Very amazing. So, if you guys really do consider enjoying the fact now about the movie, then please be sure, like as always, is like and comment and subscribe to the bell to be notified. And just remember, this is my take of how I actually think how good the movie I liked it was pretty good. So just remember, these are just my sense of how I liked the movie, of how great it was, of knowing the fact of the knowledge, how kind of okay the movie was, and see where it leads or whatever it goes to. But for now, guys, all I could say for now is thank you guys very much for considering enjoying this video. By yours again, truly, that I am Golden Devin-Foxy remastered. And with that being said, well, movie Sonic 3 was pretty good. And it was amazing. So, thank you everybody. Have a good day. And I will catch you guys in the next time. And then once to be again in the next video. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time and later. And I'll pretty much see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And also, there will be another reaction video coming up anyways. And then finally, I'll say Happy New Year's. Once 2025 hits, it's going to be a good thing. And oh, I still never forgot. Just for the sake of the record for everybody that I never forgot what I said back there of pretty much me mentioning 2024. So again, it's going to be a big change for me. And it's going to be a big change how I'm going to write the list down. So remember, I never forgot in my head. Like, again, if anybody has told me to say, it's like, oh, just forget about it. Well, guess what? am actually going to forget about it, actually. I really am not. So, that being said, it's a final decision, which I'm not going to get back into this again anyway, which I'm just making it as a reminder heads up for just completely of anybody, most likely a bit of my Discord kind, not my YouTube, which it just is not going to be mentioned otherwise, which is only just being half little mentioned in the end anyway. So, thank you everyone for enjoying this video, and I still again give this 10 out of 10 always, like completely always, like the whole time. So, anyway, I will see you guys and catch you guys in the next video. And until my eye definitely heals up or whatever, I'll see you guys again next time. And peace out, everybody. I'm Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered. Hope that you guys have a very great, amazing year that comes in 2025. And I will pretty much see you next time. Peace out, everybody. Sign out, sign off, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye, everyone. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye, everybody. See you guys later.